So I just wanted to have a little bit of a conversation why you should be cool. Why should you give a damn about it? So question number one, why are you guys here? Just sampling. Why are you here, sir?
To learn a bit more. I just started like less than a month ago, and I read a lot about it, and now I'm just trying to learn a bit more and to see why is it cool, and why should I invest either not money but my time and my interest in this.
Cool. Okay. You, madam?
I'm interested in fan tokens and the blockchain, so I wanted to see if there's any interesting ideas out here.
Why?
I can incorporate. I work as a university lecturer.
Okay.
That's something I want to do.
And I'll just pick on this gentleman. Why are you interested?
Same gentleman over there read a lot about it, and I think there are two thoughts about it. The first one is it's a good to go for it, the other one is stay dangerous, be careful.
Okay. So general interest, and it feels like you guys are trying to map in your head why you should care about it. Yeah? Would that be fair enough? I was very similar back in around about 2014. I met Bitcoin. Obviously, I didn't meet Bitcoin. It doesn't exist as an entity on its own, but I got introduced to it, and I thought, man, it's a scam. And I worked in banks all my life, so you know, I know a scam when we see one. Then I started studying a little bit more, and started trying to figure out what's driving people behind it. So again, one more question before I can give you. How much is 1 cubic meter of air?
How much it costs?
Yeah,
It's free.
it's free. All right. How much is 1 cubic meter of air when you're in a submarine and you haven't got much of it left? Priceless. So what's value? Can anyone tell me what's the definition of value?
Right now, it's basically our perception of how much we think the value is and how much we're willing to pay for something.
Is it contextual or? Okay. How much is 1 Bitcoin?
It's one Bitcoin.
Good answer. A lot of people don't think about it, but in reality, value is whatever you assign to it. 1 apple is 50p. If there's many apples, if it's the last apple on earth, you're going to pay a lot of money for it. My pretty face is not worth a lot, but maybe if I was the last man standing and there was a million ladies, I might have a slightly better chance. I don't know, but it's all relative. And don't answer that question. All right, so we kind of get to the point where value is relative, and how do we exchange value today? What do? How do you exchange value? I'll pick on you. How do we exchange value?
Sorry, I don't understand.
If I go and do something for you, how are you going to compensate me for it?
Maybe something that I think is worth that.
You're going to pay me, yeah? Money.
Usually.
Cool, okay. Let's say I got money. Is money going to keep me warm and safe? Is it going to feed me? What's money going to do to me? Nothing. Money means nothing. Literally, it's a construct of our figment of imagination. You only think it's worth something because you think it's worth something. If every plumber on this planet decided that they want to charge quadruple the rates, all the retired people would be selling their houses because they won't be able to afford a plumber. Those are the things we don't really think about, and it's really important that you understand value. It's all very relative, and money is a figment of your imagination, just like Bitcoin. But why is it useful? Because a figment of imagination is a useful way for us as a society to collaborate. You know, it was interesting to hear about the DAO. And it's like, oh yeah, the DAO is going to protect you. What? I'm going to take a baseball bat, I'm going to smash you up. Are you going to tell me that the code is going to protect me? No. It's a construct. If we all agree not to hurt each other, and if we all agree to follow those rules, until of course the Terminator gets wired up to the blockchain and then does the smart contract stuff, that's different. But I hope I don't live on the day when the Terminator comes around and starts following smart contract rules in the blockchain. So, all right. So then how does money work today. Does anyone know how money actually works? How do we create and print more money?
With paper and a
With
machine.
paper. Bit more complicated than that, but in principle, yes, of course. The practical implication of this is that. But what typically happens, actually all money is debt. Back in the 70s, US ran out of gold, and they went, yeah, screw this around about kind of keeping gold ratios to pounds and dollars and stuff like that. They said, we're going to just basically create debt with pounds. So every time, for instance, and takes a while to figure out, if you go to Barclays Bank and you decide to take a mortgage out on your property, they will simply create a new entry in their ledger, which is lending against that house. They didn't go to the Bank of England or anything else. They literally just create money out of thin air against debt. Kind of, yeah, pretty much. It's meant to be debt-based. So it relies on the trust that banks do not take the piss. If they lend sensibly, then in principle the system works because you create more money to represent debt. And as you get rid of debt, for instance, you pay off your mortgage, that money disappears out of the system. But what's happened recently, 2007 and recently, does anyone know what happened to the money supply? It's been inflated. They called it quantitative easing, but they printed money. They created government debt, and they bought government debt. It's like me issuing debt to myself and then paying money with it. What's worse still is when they raise taxes, they go back and go, okay, this is how we spend those taxes. They have to. The government has to declare how they're going to spend money once they raise taxes. But when you do quantitative easing, they don't have to tell anyone what they're going to spend that money on. So it's completely unaccountable because they just lend it to various enterprises or themselves without any accountability. And that's really dangerous because we are starting to lose faith in the way that money is being printed. We don't understand, there's no transparency. Is it exploited? And sure, the government will tell you that we're buying up 25-year bonds. Right, 2 minutes, yeah? But how do you know that who will remember in 25 years' time that the bonds were paid back? No one. They're printing money. So what Bitcoin has done, which is kind of amazing, they said, let's eliminate the issuer risk. We will create money that cannot be inflated by a single issuer, yet has all the advantages of electronic money. Because actually, people talk about gold, yeah? Like this is the real way of looking at transferring value. That doesn't work. In an international trade, you cannot ship gold all the time. It's just too expensive, and there's still physical settlement risk. So Bitcoin was one of the first inventions where we have all the benefits of digital transfer of value. Very cheap, very quick, borderless. It removes the issuer risk, and it has no physical settlement risk. So essentially, it's money for the internet age. And that is why I think you guys should be excited about it, because it's creating a completely new agreement between people. So it's interesting, we talk about DAOs. Bitcoin and others are probably the world's biggest DAO. Without any central coordination, we have 10,000 node operators, loads of businesses, all playing a game where we agree to the rules of mining and stuff like that, to generate now over $1 trillion worth of US dollars value, whatever that means to you. And that is pretty kind of amazing. From an idea, $1 trillion in not too many years. And I think that's why you guys should care about it. But anyway, that's my thoughts. And BLS curves, we can cover it later. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Alex. And he was actually our last